Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 to What If Deku Had a Clone Quirk. In the last part, we got up to the UA entrance exam. Deku got one for all, and he explained it to Bakugo. He is about to go through the UA entrance exam, and yeah, that's where I'm begin. Anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and look through my other stuff. Thank you. Let's get straight into it. Okay, the UA entrance exam would come around. He walks into the building with Bakugo, and he doesn't trip. Oh no, he does trip, but Bakugo does catch him. They take the written exam as regular. Deku does better than normal due to studying more and being less fatigued. They go to the gate of the practical exam, and Deku brings out all 5 clones, and they put on a full cowling. So he kind of looks like pain almost. But they look cold. I'll give it to him. The gates open, and Deku, being skeptical, sends one clone out to see if it's allowed. No one says anything, so the rest follow with insane speeds. All of his clones and himself take on the robots with 10% one for all, and they get hella points. Like, they would all run down to the middle, and then they would just split, and they would all take on separate robots. Leaving some for the rest of the kids, he would just kind of run around instead. Once he had enough points, he sends his clones on to check for people in trouble, racking up rescue points as well. So the 0 pointer comes out, and Deku sees Uraraka. He calls 2 of his 3 clones to here, and they get Uraraka out of the rubble and run away. A 3rd clone shows up and goes into 75% one for all into his fists. Now, because Deku's clones don't transfer damage, he can go onto 100% one for all onto his clone, jump up, smack something, and then it'll disappear. So it's kind of cracked if I'm being completely honest with you. So one of the clones will get into 75% one for all, jump up, smack the robot, and then just poof, just gone. Deku would go home with a big smile on his face as he waits for the results. Bakugo comes through the door about 2 weeks later, holding Deku's letter in his hand. Yo, nerd, I found this at the doorstep. I'm coming in. They both sit, and Deku opens it. A hologram opens up, and they're greeted by All Might. Well done, young Midoriya. You got 88 villain points and 66 hero points. Congratulations, you made it into your Hero Academia. Deku grins and nods his head, trying to look cool for Bakugo, which doesn't work. Bakugo is pissed. Deku got more points to them. They get ready for school, and they both walk in at the same time the next day. Okay, they would walk in the next day and sit down, Bakugo putting his legs on the desk. Immediately, a tall boy with blue hair comes up to him and barrages him. Deku sits at his desk, listening to the music that a clone left at home listening to. A man stands up in class while the class is yapping to each other and introduces himself, telling the class to sit down and shut up. The class going silent. The teacher gives out sports uniforms, and they go to meet outside for the quirk apprehension test. They meet outside, and Deku has passed the ball, telling him to throw it. He looks back in confusion. Huh? Throw it? We want to see how much your quirk amplifies your regular abilities. Just throw it with your quirk. Deku thinks for a second, then summons a clone to throw it at 100%. Deku tells the class to back up a little bit, which Bakugo backs him up for. The clone charges 100%, sparks flying and wind gushing around him. With a flick of his finger, he smashes the ball up into the atmosphere before disappearing completely. Huh? Infinity? Eraserhead says, as the class jaws are left agape. The rest of the tests go about as well as you would expect. Not going too hard, just using 10% for the rest of the exercises. Getting easily first place. Invisible Girl isn't kicked from class this time, as her quirk isn't physical, and Eraserhead would see that, and the class would resume as normal. They're sat in class one day, boring as usual. Deku's sitting at home, actually, while a clone does his work for him, whilst another clone trains in the gym, until All Might pops into the class saying, I am here. Deku immediately pops his head up and transfers back to his class. They get their hero suit. Okay. Let me explain this, right? So, Deku leaves one clone in class, because they can't tell the difference. He leaves one clone in class, he has one clone at home, and he has one clone at the gym. They can all go 2 hours each, right? So he's sitting at the gym currently. He's sitting at home currently. A clone is working out for him, and another clone is at school, right? So All Might pops into class. The Deku in school's head would pop up, and then Deku would transfer into it, and then the one at home would still be there, but he would like just wouldn't be conscious, it'd just be like NPC type shit. They get their hero suits and walk out into the training center. Deku's hero costume would be similar to the one worn in canon when he's fighting against 1B, because that shit looked cool as hell, but with some gadgets to help him out. I'm gonna say he kind of looks like Pain a little bit, because, well, let's be real, Pain looks clean as shit. They would get lots drawn out, and Deku and Uraraka versus Bakugo and Ida. Bakugo grins, looking at Deku, who grins back. They make their way to the entrance, and They make their way to the entrance of the building, and Deku tells Uraraka about a plan. They make their way in, and Bakugo comes flying down the stairs. Deku creates his 5 clones who go separate ways as he goes with Uraraka. One of its clones finds Bakugo almost instantly, and Deku switches to it, pulling Uraraka with his clone's mic thing. Deku and Bakugo square off, and they both say they won't hold back. They both blitz into the middle of the room, slamming punches at each other. Not holding back, they start to fight. No quirks, just hands. After Deku eggs Bakugo on, a clone of Deku comes from behind and traps Bakugo with capture tape and grins up at him before disappearing. Same with the one that was fighting Bakugo after shrugging. They all form next to the main Deku, next to Uraraka, and they break into the room Ida was in, holding the bomb. Deku comes in from all sides, and they pull out capture tape. Kirishima in the room with All Might says, "Wait, huh? He can clone objects too? I thought he could only clone himself." All Might smiles and looks back at him. Nope, he legit held on to 6 capture tapes the whole time. The class face palms. They all surround Ida with a capture tape, creating a circle around him before running and capturing him while Uraraka touches the bomb. "Hero team wins!" All Might shouts. Bakugo will be pissed by this. He didn't get a fair fight. Deku kind of bitched him, which Bakugo says he'll get back for him in training. They go back to class, and Bakugo is annoyed that Deku dogged him like that, saying he's going to get back in training. Deku gulps. They are told about the USJ from Eraserhead, and they all get hyped. They stack onto the bus and head off to the USJ. They get off and are greeted inside by 13. Who gives him a lame-ass speech. In the corner of his eyes, Deku sees a portal forming in the middle of the USJ facility. Turning to it, Eraserhead notices too, and they get ready to go down. Deku jumps off. Eraserhead would jump off, going to defeat the small fry villain. Deku sends 2 clones to assist him, pushing to 50% full cowling each. Kurogiri comes up, and Bakugo and Kirishima try to blast him away, which doesn't work. They're sucked into a portal before being teleported. Deku makes the remaining 3 clones push outside the building. Push 1 outside the circle before being teleported. The clone starts running at 15% towards the school to get back up, and the rest are teleported. So, to refresh, 1 clone is running to get help, 2 clones are with Eraserhead, and 3 clones are teleported. The main Deku got teleported, his body landing on the waterfall area. Falling, he uses a 20% smash to keep himself afloat before Froppy captures him, and they jump to safety. His other 2 clones are in the fire area and with Bakugo respectively. The main Deku closes his eyes and checks all the other clones' whereabouts. He says, "It seems that we've been separated, not by Quirk, but by at random. My clones are at random spots fighting Quirk users right now." They figure out a plan, and Deku calls his clone back from the fireplace to assist. They send his clone out to send a smash at the water at 100% before jumping with 15% full cowling and landing safely on the other side, defeating the villains. They meet up with the two clones who are with a race ahead. In a flash, one of them is taken out. Nomu, kill those brats. It rushes at the second clone and swats it away before going towards the race ahead. Deku creates another clone and tanks a hit for a race ahead before yanking him away. That's not something we want to mess with. Did you cancel its quirk? A race ahead nods in horror. Comes onto Deku's face. Suddenly, All Might and the rest of the faculty bust through the glass, shattering it before All Might swats the fodder villain away. Deku and Eraserhead use this chance to get some distance on Shigaraki and the Nomu. Nomu follows them, but they get hit before they get hit, but All Might smacks it out of the way and starts fighting it. Shigaraki Shigaraki, seeing it's a losing battle, dips, leaving the NPC and the Nomu there to rot. So they would actually beat the USJ incident a lot quicker in this timeline because Deku ran instead of Ida. I think Deku is quicker than Ida. Shigaraki and Korogiri would still escape, but yeah, that's about it. A week break is set and they all in. A week break is set out and they all aren't injured thanks to Deku's involvement. They train and Deku starts to leave 5 clones at home studying and doing training to better understand his quirk. Due to this, he unlocks a 6th clone, making 7 altogether. He's training to limit the backlash. When the UA Sports Fest comes around, he is ready, pushing his full cowling to 15% at this point and being able to reach 30% in dire needs. He goes through the race course easily, leaving clones to help him get through it and tanking stuff / watching out for him. He gets to 1 million points and decides to make a team of 4 clones of him and Bakugo, who got 2nd place. It is allowed and they destroy the competition. Like, let's be real, 4 clones at 15% full cowling plus Bakugo on top. It's cracked. The 1v1s come up and due to a clone of Deku being with the tail guy in the fire part of the USJ, he's more friendly with him. The tail guy, I forgot his name, would warn Deku about the guy he's about to face and they dap up. They both step out the ring and immediately he starts running his mouth. Deku tells him to shut up, which actually activates his quirk and he starts walking out of the ring. He sees a premonition of the last wielders, who freeze for the time being. He sees a premonition of the last wielders, who freeze time for him in his mental landscape. They stare at him, towering over him in a fading mindscape, cracking, falling to infinity. The brash looking one speaks first. Well. Took you long enough. We've been trying to reach you for time. We've been trying to reach you. But every time you're asleep, you have a clone awake doing some stupid shit. Like, geez, kid, take a break. Your mind hasn't been completely out like this in a while. Another one continues. Anyway, we're the past wielders of One for All. The quirk All Might gave you. I am Nanishimura. I was his master. Deku froze, trying to take this all in. Past wielders, he says. They all nod. We've been watching you. You're far more than a hero, boy. For that, we give you these willingly. It's going to take a while. It's going to be a lot to take in at once, but we know you can do it. He stops them. Wait, what? They fade and he returns to life. Almost at the edge of the ring, he explodes into a gust of air. All 6 clones explode from his body, all wielding a different quirk they got from a previous user.